Children are being horribly maimed and killed by cluster munitions in areas of conflict and in nations where the battles have long ago ended and the warring factions return to their homes and to their families. The Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, has called cluster munitions, and I quote, "deadly, inhumane weapons," unquote. The government of the United States now has the opportunity to ratify the Convention on Cluster Munitions, which would prohibit all use, stockpiling, production, and transfer of these weapons. What are cluster munitions? Cluster munitions are weapons which are deployed from the air and from the ground. These weapons release dozens or hundreds of smaller bombs which randomly blanket an area with explosives called by the military bomblets. Cluster munitions, when they release these deadly bomblets, cause two major humanitarian problems and risk to civilians, especially to children. First, the widespread dispersal of these bomblets do not distinguish between military targets and civilians. Thus, the humanitarian impact can be extreme, especially when the weapon is used in or near populated areas. And secondly, many of these small bombs or bomblets fail to detonate on impact and continue to kill and maim innocent people long after the conflict has ended. These unexploded bomblets are extremely lethal to children. 1/3 of all cluster bomb casualties are children. Let me repeat that figure. 1/3 of all cluster bomb casualties are children. Children too often see these small tin can-like bombs as some kind of a toy, a plaything, only to discover too late the horrible maiming and killing power of these weapons of war. The toll in human lives, maimed and killed, cannot be known at this time because hundreds of thousands of unexploded bomblets have yet to find their victims. Children at play, adults tending to everyday chores. Before many more children fall victim to these inhumane and deadly devices, before another child falls victim to diplomatic language that all but obfuscates the real issues of life and death, the Children's Theater for Peace implores the government of the United States to sign and to ratify the Convention on Cluster Munitions. As of July 15, 2009, 98 nations have signed the convention. It is time for the United States to be the 99th signatory. This convention enters into force 6 months after 30 nations have ratified it. 14 countries have, thus far, ratified the convention. The United States needs to be the 15th to ratify this document. Yes, we can, Mr. Obama, quoting your words. Yes, we can. We can sign this convention and we can ratify this document so that children and other innocents have the opportunity to live their lives in a world void of this terrible weapon.